What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Brother Brian Mcknight is going through some real tough criticisms right now. And despite having an illustrious career as a singer, he's now being criticized in part for, number one, I believe the biggest thing, which is having a relationship, a new marriage with a medical doctor. I believe she's a pediatric neurophysiologist and or some sort of, neurophysiologist. She could be also a PhD specialized. I don't know which one it is, but she's definitely highly trained. And she's Filipino. And also she had some Filipino children before marrying her. And those are the children that Mr. Mcknight actually claims as his own. In retrospect, Brian Mcknight was married to an African-American lady, had several children, one which was Brian Mcknight Jr. And because of Brian Mcknight's newest addition to his family, he has named his new child also Brian Mcknight. I'd like to play this TikTok clip explaining this whole entire situation, and then I'm going to come back.
Internet is now dragging singer Brian Mcknight after he named his child Brian. Well, here's the thing. He already has another son that he doesn't have a relationship with anymore by the same name, Brian. It's so crazy how certain things get trending. He posted this back in January of this year, giving praise to his new son that he has with his new wife, which led people to kind of dig up old stories about Brian Mcknight and how he left his old families behind. You can pause the video to read the full statement. However, it's the second paragraph where he talks about the child. It says, "The legacy of that love, my namesake and my joy, my baby boy, you." He has a son, Brian Mcknight Jr. This is Brian Mcknight Jr. He's also a singer. And you can always count on Twitter to break down how the situation unfolded. So Brian Mcknight was married to Julie Mcknight, had two sons, Brian Jr. and Nico, with her, cheated on her with Patricia Driver, and had a daughter, Brianna Mcknight, who Julie treated like her own, disowned all of them, got a new wife and stepkids, and didn't look back, allegedly. So the streets have been talking about Brian Mcknight for years, and now this whole family drama is coming up because of him naming his new son Brian, even though he already has a Brian Jr. Guys, what are your thoughts on this? This is a mess, but so is he. Look at the smile on it. Messy.
So guys, you've heard that, all right? That is from the YouTuber Kempire. I like to talk about this. I made a video about this. According to some of you brothers out there, these grown children of Mr. Mcknight have ridiculed him in the past, okay? Talking about he was a deadbeat dad, saying things that he didn't support them. The mother, obviously, I believe, has some sorts of things to say about him in some regard. So the relationship between him and his children are tumultuous, despite the fact that, if I'm not mistaken, all of them are adults. And so for the fact that all of them are adults and Mr. Mcknight has moved on, he's praised this new child about, he's the one that, this child he loves the most, carrying on the legacy. And it seems like he has disowned the children from the previous relationship. Now, let me just say this from my own personal experience. Again, I know about what we've heard about the whole thing as far as, and what I'm trying to say here, insofar as what we know, that there's been some back and forth between them in the past. But here's something that we do know. My parents were divorced, all right? And once my parents got divorced, there was definitely some animosity towards his new family, his new wife, and his new kids. It was animosity from us towards them towards us, and towards my mother and his new wife, and vice versa, all right? Which my dad had a lot to do with, if we want to be real, okay? Well, what I will say is this, on my father's behalf, and on many of you guys' behalf, he wasn't the most perfect man, but he wanted to try to make it work. My father had some many issues in his life that prevented that from actually happening. And so he really had no much of a choice but to give up the house, go do something better. And then typically what happened was my mother didn't believe that he would actually get himself together to a certain point, and he did. And so what happened was the new wife and the new family benefited off of his new found discipline. In the case of Brian Mcknight, I understand he could have made some mistakes as a young man, cheating and doing things like that. And now, once the divorce everything is settled, and you know the kids are grown, and many times entitled, yeah, look at 50 Cent's son. These kids are entitled. And despite having the opportunity to go to the best schools, the kids don't amount to much. And they continue to want more and more and more, right? If the man wants to disown the current kids, I mean, I think that's terrible in certain aspects. But again, I've never been a father that has had children that you've tried to take care of from and you've been disrespected by those kids. I don't know what that feels like. I don't. So then at that point, I'd be talking about something that I don't know. And the fact is that Mr. Mcknight, from what I understand, he's done everything he's supposed to do as a father as far as financially. Again, no father is perfect. I've never heard of him missing child support payments. I've never heard of him not taking care of those kids. As far as finances, I've heard him being a deadbeat and what those allegations are. I haven't seen any proof of those allegations, but this is what I have read. Him not being there, him not doing things and all of that. Again, it seems like he's doing all of that for the kids that ain't got nothing to do with him. He's doing it for Leilani Mendoza or Leilani Mcknight's kids who are not even black. So it must have meant that he had that ability. Why is he doing it now? I'll tell you, he feels respected now. And I know what y'all gonna go ahead and say. Well, this is what black men do for the white woman, for the Asian woman, for whatever else. That could be all and well. But we're not gonna get around the fact that Brian Mcknight could have had anybody, okay? There were many women available to him. Why did he get with this woman that was a single mom or a divorced mom with 2 kids? It would have to have been for the fact that she was an exceptional candidate. A woman who could make a man love her despite what some of us in the red pill would consider baggage. And again, I've seen this happen so many times with men. You know, a lot of women think that once a man is done with her, the divorce is final, his life's gonna end. You never actually expect that man is gonna be somebody else. I tell the story all the time. I knew a brother who was a firefighter. He was going to school to become a firefighter. The wife wanted a divorce. He begged her not to. She gave him a divorce. She went on with some toothless, no good dude. He went on and got married, bought a brand new house in Antioch, California, doing very well. Now the woman is upset. Got a new kid, got a new wife, new babies. And guess what? And her daughter that he's with, yeah, he loves her. But hey, look, mama don't want to let the boy see him. Don't want to let the man be there in his life. So what he supposed to do now? I mean, guys give up too. And that's the issue that a lot of y'all don't want to deal with. These guys are pretty much tired. And I'm not trying to say being a deadbeat is okay, but damned if you do, damned if you don't. You want the divorce. You don't want to work it out. Then you tell the kids all these nasty things about the guy. The guy goes, okay, let me show you. You pretty much give the guy a chip on his shoulder to throw it in your face that yes, he is a good dad. And now your kids get to see that he is a good dad to somebody else. And then they're telling you, my dad takes care of this other family. Why ain't he taking care of us? Maybe he could have been like that the whole entire time. And he has a point to prove now. Now he has a point to prove how much of a man he really is because the mom, for whatever reason, made a short-term decision. And then the mom never found anybody else. So Brian Mcknight is like, look at these other kids ain't mine. I'm taking care of more than y'all because y'all are entitled. I won't give you nothing, but I will give it to them. It happens like that. Not saying it's fair, but until Brian Mcknight is allowed to come out, and the thing about him is he can't come out and tell the truth. Y'all gonna crash him, like y'all did Marcus Houston. So it's his way of clapping back. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Drunk. Appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.